So welcome to this gold medal winning episode of the Campus Comics Cast. My name is Scott Reed, and I am joined by
Mike Atchison
and Shad Schubert.
All right, so it is previews time again, and this month we are covering the August 2021 catalog for items that are generally shipping in October of 2021. And we're going to start as we normally do with the DC Connect catalog. I guess before we dive right in, anything anybody want to mention?
Well, just that it's noticeably thinner, as we were mentioning off mic earlier, and they've kind of changed their approach on how they display their solicitations. But other than that, there's not much to talk about.
Not of the catalog itself, anyway. So
right.
All right. So just right away on page one, we've got a new 3-issue series, Batman, the Imposter. And definitely DC is heavily leaning on Batman here recently is what it seems like to me. Yeah. But here we've got kind of like I'd almost describe it as a year 2 story.
Yeah, that's what Mm-hmm. And they're promising a newer vision of Gotham is promised within this. I didn't really get how they were going to do that, how they're going to pull off a new vision of Gotham. But the artwork seems interesting, at least from the little preview pages we have, and it doesn't seem like we spend a lot of time in year 1, year 2 era as much anymore, so a nice visit into that time would be cool.
And this isn't the only Batman related solicitation that I could say this about, but there are so many Batman stories being told, and many of them are good, but the way I like my stories and my continuity is for it to very clearly say whether something is or is not mainstream continuity, whether or not it relates to the rest of what's going on in the DC universe. And I wish that they would say, just like back in the day of the Elseworlds.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they don't want to tell you because they can't make up their mind whether they want it to be,
well, I can answer that for you, Mike. It will be in continuity whenever who is currently writing Batman wants it to be in continuity.
There you go.
So there you go. So that's okay.
Is Black Label typically out of continuity, though? Is that what they've said, or has there been any Black Label that has been considered continuity, at least since Black Label's beginning?
I think there's just less of. I think I'm in the minority, or people my age maybe are in the minority. Or that we like the continuity, and there's more focus on just good storytelling, and that's fine. But I've mentioned it before on this podcast, is if not continuity, at least some connectivity. How do these characters relate to one another? Which version of them relates to one another? Otherwise, it just is confusing the way they're portrayed, and in such disparate ways across all these different titles. So this looks like a great story, but I'd like to put it in my nice, neat little canister of this is a outside continuity comic.
Right. Well, because then you have the flip side of that. Whenever you have 80 plus years of Batman comic books, and then a writer wants to do something, and if they're completely tied down by the continuity, then that sometimes can lessen the writer's creativity with the options that they have available, on a particular character. So, and obviously they've rebooted the character multiple times, and they have a chance to kind of get a fresh start, but still, it's, I don't know, it's just tough when you have 80 plus years of research you'd have to do on a character.
And that's why I focus more on connectivity as opposed to continuity. I'm not worried about, hey, this doesn't match what happened in that 1961 issue of Detective Comics. I'm more about
episode 37 or issue 37. There clearly is, Batman has blue boots. Like, you can't say this is the first time he's ever worn blue boots.
That's a pretty good.
I don't know what that was,
but that sounds pretty good.
I don't know. I don't know who that was.
I think that's been all of us at one point or another in our collecting careers. We're like, wait a second, that's not my damage. Whenever they came out with that damage character, a few years ago, I'm like, wait, who is this guy?
you don't want to be that guy, but you're occasionally that guy,
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, back to the whole Black Label thing though. I think it's the same thing. Some Black Label books they'd want to do a prestige format, so they're in continuity, but they just want to do a different format with them, or maybe have slightly more mature material. So there's not any consistency about Black Label. So heck, they can't even consistently have the books be the same size, let alone
This is true.
Yeah, because originally they were all supposed to be magazine size.
Yeah, and then
that didn't last. Well, the preview issue for the first Black Label book wasn't even magazine size.
No, that's right.
Yeah, so it's just nuts. So, and more Batman. So we got pages 3 through 8.
Fear State.
Fear State, yeah, and I can't really say anything about Fear State because I haven't read anything for Fear State yet. No. I think it hits the shelves next month or later this month, maybe. I guess probably later this month. So
no, the only thing that the Arkham City, the Order of the World #1, I'm getting a lot of Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum vibes out of that. I don't know if that's what they're trying to do, but even in the synopsis is kind of gives a vibe that they're trying to maybe put off going through a similar situation as maybe the Arkham Asylum book in this kind of one, or it's a 6-issue mini that ties in, but it seems like it's a spinning out of Fear State. So I don't know if this is directly a Fear State book as much as it is and something off of that. Once again, there's a spin-off of the spin-off that is Fear State.
Well, they have it in the Fear State section of the catalog. Yeah. So they definitely want you to associate it with Fear State.
Yeah.
And to give credit to one of the former podcasters on this podcast, Matt Martin, you will notice that several of these books, both covers are cardstock, not just one or the not just one variant cardstock cover, but both covers are cardstock. And he predicted a while back that he said, DC's going to start with the one cardstock and one regular, and before it's all done, all books are going to be cardstock covers. So he's
that's
part of the way
justify
the dollar.
Yeah, the dollar extra. Yeah. Right.
But I don't know. You got anything to add on Fear State, Mike?
Just that I've quit buying Batman books monthly, but this is something maybe I'd wait until it came out in a collection. So hopefully it would include the Arkham City, the little special there. So, and the Peacekeeper as well. I remember seeing that character in some of the Future State issues. So.
Page 9, why this title is not in the Fear State section, I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense to me, but we got Task Force Z, and basically a lot of the characters that were killed in Fear State or the Infinite Frontier 0 issue, they're going to get to come back to life, and it's going to be out of this Task Force Z title that we have. So I really consider that a direct tie-in to Fear State as well. So,
but looking at the cover of this Task Force Z, the character that's at the very top, I don't know who that is, but is that the Black Mercy that's attached to his face?
Is that Mr. Bloom from the Snyder run?
I think you are correct. I think that is Mr. Bloom. So that looks just like him because he's got he's kind of like it kind of looks like a flower on his forehead.
Yeah,
and he is mentioned in the
little synopsis,
the description. Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't come up with a word to describe the writings at the bottom of the page. I think that is Mr. Bloom.
Yeah,
I mean, some are pretty obvious, Bane and Red Hood, and
so they're dead villains working for a chance at life again. So they are Task Force Z as in zombie. They're zombie task force.
I guess so. I mean, that make the most sense for the letter Z, but
so
mixed into, but I don't know if it's gonna be Lazarus Pit or something else. Since it is Red Hood, to me that implies we're gonna get some Lazarus Pit or something going on.
All of these comics that are titled Fear State tie-ins, I'm surprised that the one that's written by John Ridley, the I Am Batman, It's number 2 of that series that it's considered to be tied to it. Because again, that I thought maybe this was an alternative or an alternate timeline type, Batman, because it's Jace Fox, and I haven't seen any of the mainstream. I mean, any of the other books saying that okay, now this guy's replaced Bruce Wayne. I thought all that was like either in the future or in some sort of alternate timeline or whatever, but I'm a little confused about how that ties into Fear State.
Well, we've seen before like tie-ins like that where it has nothing to do with that timeline, but also here's this story from the future or this other universe that also deals with a fear toxin or whatever. So maybe it's so loosely tied in.
Yeah.
It's like the old Crisis on Infinite Earths tie-in where you have a red sky for one panel, and that's the entire thing that ties into Crisis.
Right.
You got to get that banner across there to maybe sell a couple extra copies. So.
Right.
Page 11?
Page 11.
Page 11. I forgot what it was. Oh, yeah. They got another Fortnite
one-shot.
Another digital code. So
Fortnite is coming to Gotham City this time. So that's the big difference there on this one. It's the roles are reversed. Batman's gotten out of the Fortnite world, but now Fortnite's coming back.
Yep. And the digital code. And the digital code is,
that's the most important part, right?
Yeah, it sells those because I had 2 sets of 1 through 6 at Superman Celebration, sold both sets when people found out there were Fortnite codes in there.
Wow.
It's like one person saw Fortnite and I told them they were codes and they automatically bought them, and somebody else heard me talking about the codes and they ran over and grabbed the other one. So I was like, man, I should add a few more of those. So.
Yeah. They give those away for free when you read the comics on DC Universe.
Oh, do they?
Infinite, yeah. If you read the issue on DC, actually, you just have to read the first page. They'll email you the code after that.
Oh, really? Are all the issues for free on DC Infinite?
Yeah,
or one?
Yeah. They were on there day one on day and date on release.
Oh, wow. You don't even have to be a subscriber. You have to be a subscriber.
Well, I mean, you have to subscribe.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So you have to have the what? $8 subscription, $10 subscription, but you get all the codes.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. So
yeah.
Page 12. I like the renaming of this special. Or no, this isn't it. No, I'm thinking about something else. So actually, we got the Long Halloween special. So we've got Loeb and Sale. They're going to revisit Long Halloween, which of course we did a while back, a review of that series. So this is something I definitely will want to pick up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'll pick that up. But that's is that out already? Is there an animated version of that?
I think part 1 is out. They split it into 2 animated movies. I think part 1 is out and part 2 probably comes out next month.
That's on HBO Max, right?
I don't know if it's on there or not. I think they may have just
should be.
Right? Yeah. I haven't seen it on HBO Max yet.
Okay, I haven't looked for it yet, so I guess I didn't know it was out. So 14? Anybody got anything for 14?
Nope.
So we've got Catwoman, Lonely City. So this is basically it's a 4-issue series set at some point in the future. So here we have they describe it as a world without Batman. So you talked about, wanting your connectivity. So in DC proper, we've got Bruce Wayne that's ultimately going to be replaced by Jace Fox. But here we've got in the future no Batman at all. So I don't know what to think about that.
And this one was a real interesting concept that I was like, did I miss something in a timeline here? Because evidently there's this Fool's Night that killed Gordon, Batman, Joker are all wiped out in this one night, and Catwoman's put away for 10 years, and then she comes back afterwards. And I was thinking, is this a story that existed, or is this all lore that ties into this one storyline? But I guess it seems like it.
I am, and Mike would be able to speak to this definitely better than I could, but I'm assuming that's something that's going to be an event to kind of kick off this story. So I do like the Batman 66 Catwoman that they have on the cover of this book, though. So that's kind of cool.
Yes.
I don't know, Mike, is there a Fool's Day thing that you were aware of?
No.
Okay, all right. Speaking of vampires, or actually not speaking of vampires, but undead, I guess. We got DC versus vampires. James Tynion the fourth is taking a crack at the vampires. So yeah,
we're trying it all out for October
exactly.
for Halloween.
Yeah, so it's more Batman's on the cover, so a whole lot going on there with Batman this month.
And that's a 12 issue, so we're gonna live with DC versus vampires for an entire year.
That is just that seems like a pretty heavy commitment for something like this.
Some people will.
Yeah,
I won't.
It would be nice to see it like as a 6-issue series that kind of is self-contained and maybe lead into another 6-issue series. But to just
maybe bi-weekly or something, like give me something more frequently so we can get this story over.
Right.
Yeah, and know that it's going to get out on time.
Yeah.
Speaking of books that may or may not come out on time, you have on the next page Human Target, which is Tom King. So it's got that going for us, but it's Human Target. Do I really care?
I do.
You do? Okay. All right. Well, then tell me why you care. I want to hear why Mike Atchison cares about this Human Target.
I mean, it's okay. So actually why I care is not so much about Christopher Chant's Human Target as the appearance of all of the Justice League International, the Bwahaha version of the Justice League, as co-stars in this series, which is 12 issues long as well. I will definitely be picking this up, and you can kind of tell who each of the characters are there, but it has enough intrigue for me as to why they're involved in this. But Christopher Chance, I mean, his MO is basically like the solicitation says, he susses out the people that are trying to assassinate people by disguising himself as the target, and then he takes them down. So, and he's been around since since the early 70s probably. He was had a backup strip in Detective Comics for a long time, but
he was even used on in the Arrowverse on the CW. So
right.
Oh.
So
or at least
I'm kind of excited.
Target was. So,
and this is Black Label. It's not the oversized, but it's cardstock. So again, Chad, it's almost like, okay, does that mean this is outside continuity? If so, great. Right. I'm probably in my headcanon going to say that. So when I see that Blue Beetle's arm with his little, I forget what that gun was called, but I remember somebody I was trying to introduce into comics, and I gave him some JLI or some comics that had Blue Beetle, and he's like, why is he using a hairdryer for a weapon? Like, good point. It looks like a blow dryer.
Page 20 and 21. Anybody got anything for that?
On 19, there's another new Batman comic. It's the Audio Adventures special. So I was reading into this, and they are doing a podcast through HBO Max. Now the streaming services are starting to get into producing podcasts, and so they
could buy us.
That's right.
We wouldn't be super expensive.
No. But I guess it's more on the audio drama side of things is what they're doing. They're doing radio plays, and this is supposed to be a prequel into that Batman radio play that HBO Max is producing. Sounds like they're going to have it available have the audio thing on HBO Max, but also you can download it wherever podcasts are found. But there wasn't like a release date or anything to it yet. It was kind of a little unknown, but it seemed like Netflix was maybe getting into audio dramas also. Everybody's getting involved, but this is a comic book tied to an audio play.
Yeah, it's not the comic book that has me interested. It's the actual audio.
Yes,
play,
exactly.
The radio drama,
because
I love that kind of stuff. But
I do too.
Yeah, I'm like you. I haven't looked into it, but I will be looking. I was hoping to hear what you said is that it'll be available on whatever podcatcher that people use.
Yeah, it sounded like it. Yeah.
I do. Going back a page, I'm interested. Even though it's 7 issues long, I don't know if I could read 7 issues of Aquaman, Green Arrow teamed up, but they're two of my more favorite characters, I guess, in the DC universe. So
then you should be able to read this easily if they're two of your favorite characters.
Maybe not 7 issues, though. We'll see. I'll read the first couple.
Yeah.
So and then next is Wonder Woman all the time. Wonder Woman.
Uh-huh.
Didn't we already have a Wonder Woman 80th anniversary?
It was her book? It was her like 800th issue or something. Okay. It was an anniversary issue.
It was an anniversary issue, not her 80th. Okay.
Yeah, they're just they're cashing in on this, and I'm like, okay, I've read enough individual stories. I'm sure there's some good ones, but
I don't know. But you gotta like the Bruce Timm cover there, variant cover on page 21.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's good.
Anybody who is a fan of Batman animated, that would be one you might want to consider picking up. So
yeah.
And then to continue with Wonder Woman on page 22, Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazon's #1. We've got an oversized. Now this one's magazine sized.
Mm-hmm.
Black label. Make up your mind. But this is going to be a history of the Amazons that's spinning out of Infinite Frontier. So they got to spin things out of Infinite Frontier as much as possible. Actually, I'm reading my notes wrong. That's on the next one. That's not on this one. So
I was thinking, wait a second. I didn't see that this was spun out. The artwork on this looks awesome, though.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Looks like frameable pieces immediately.
Yeah. Well, you don't get to see Phil Jimenez a whole lot these days. But Kelly Sue DeConnick's great writer, and I'm interested. I like a history framed comic book, so I'm definitely picking this one up.
Absolutely.
I like that it's not like the history of the DC universe where it's like primarily text.
Right.
Oh, I like that it's more of a comic.
Sure.
So here on page 24 is what's out of Infinite Frontier. Nubia and the Amazons. So if we, in one of those shorts, she was the one of the three who was going to look at the head of Medusa, and the other two backed out, and then she didn't have to look at him, became, the new, she wasn't really the new Wonder Woman. She was the new
Queen of the Amazons, right?
Something like that.
Oh, she did look at the head, and she survived. I'm pretty sure.
No, they didn't show it to her because the other two backed out, so she didn't have to look.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What was that in?
That was in Infinite Frontier 0.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to go back and look at that because in my head she did actually look at it because somebody had to. Yeah, true.
No, but then the other two backed out.
Yeah.
They actually have to look at it. So
they were like, "Have at it."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're gonna get a 6-issue series, and this is a character they haven't really focused on a whole lot. So, and she goes back to what, Wonder Woman 206 or something like that. So
206, yeah.
Way back there.
It was during the Diana Prince, secret agent spy, all white outfit.
Nope. After that. She went
back
to her regular costume.
Oh, she had already gone back to the costume by then? Okay.
Because wasn't that in the 190s where she was in the pantsuit?
Yeah, it was like, I want to say it was several issues. But yeah, it was right around that era, so it very well could have been then.
It's right on the back side of that after that wraps up within 10 issues.
I'm looking at the cover. You're right. She's in it's a great Ernie Chan cover.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like
over her, getting ready to strike her down. She's laying on the ground. Yep.
So the last Diana Prince in the white jumpsuit was 203.
203. Okay.
Yeah, and it went back to the 180s is when that started. So.
Page 26, we're getting a Wonder Woman #1 special edition. So you can buy apparently bundles of this book, 25 copies for $6.25. So this is basically a free comic book day book.
Yeah. Or Batman Day or
a Batman Day or whatever. They do. It's weird though that they say that it's free, but then they have it priced at 25 or $6.25 for a pack of 25. And I think you had to buy them in packs of 25. You can't buy single books. So if you are pre-ordering them anyway. So, but I think there's a decent chance that Mike will probably get some of these, but who knows for sure. So.
Well, this was the first issue, I guess, of that Rucka Sharp run, and which was a good one, I thought. And
that was the New 52 run, though, right?
No, that New 52 was Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang.
That's right.
This was like, I guess, the Rebirth era.
Okay.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I had my continuity messed up. Surprise, surprise.
What continuity?
Yeah. 28.
28.
So Hill House is back. It's been gone for a little while. We thought this was going to be a big thing from DC, and they had a handful of titles, 4 or 5 titles for a while.
Yeah.
They all ended, and then this is the first one in, I don't know, 6 months at least.
It's a follow-up of when you expect what's after a basket, a refrigerator is evidently.
Yeah. You know what? I hadn't even put that together. Refrigerator full of heads. I had not even put that together. So yeah. And it even says, on the lore of the original basket full of heads. So,
that's right.
Yep. So, but it's not written by Joe Hill either. So,
no.
So on page 30, I'm sorry, we jumped ahead. Were you done there?
Yeah, I'm done.
On page 30, the first page of the 6 solicitations per page, they have Action Comics number 1036, and it says the War World Saga begins. And it mentions Superman and the Authority being a part of this. Now, I know I read somewhere that was supposed to be outside of continuity, because, I mean, when you look at the Superman and the Authority comic, he's got the black emblem, the black background to the S, sort of like the Kingdom Come Superman. So now I'm like, okay, and it's great if it is, but maybe it's just a hook to get somebody to buy this issue of Action Comics, whereas I maybe wouldn't.
Well, the Superman Authority series, I feel like is set in the future, because we have the older Clark Kent.
I see.
And I think this is the current version of Clark Kent, at least.
So it may not be tied to the same story, but it's
no, I wouldn't think so.
But it's cashing in on that whole that whole Superman and the Authority comic, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'd say you are probably right. Also on page 30, you've got Batman: The Adventure Continues Season 2, and I just mentioned this because artist Rick Burchett. So,
that's right.
And he is a super nice guy if you have ever met him at a convention. So
is he from St. Louis?
He's from the St. Louis area, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. He was at Berg Comics Con just a few years ago.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So I got a Nick Fury sketch, and what else did I get from him? I can't remember. I bought some original art from one of his Batman animated books as well. So.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else for DC. What else do you guys have?
Last thing I've got's on 32, Future State Gotham number 6. So there is one singular Future State title keeping on rolling through all of this, it looks like. As we are trying to figure out and navigate where timelines are at, I thought it was interesting that there's still one Future State book that's still rolling, and it doesn't have an end date. It's not.
Well, it does say it's the penultimate chapter, so that means this will be the next to the last issue.
That's what I was wondering if that's what they were indicating there.
Yeah. This almost has to be a book that was delayed for it to not have wrapped up already.
Well, the other ones only went 2 issues, didn't they? 1, 2, 3 issues, and then this one just kept on rolling out.
Yeah. Some of them were 4.
Go ahead.
I just said some of them were 4 issues.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I was just scanning ahead here, and I heard this, but I didn't know it, and I didn't have it verified till now, but this is the second month where there is no Superman title, period. Just Superman. Eponymous title. You've got the Son of Kal-El, you've got Action Comics. I don't know if you have
the one who fell.
And that's kind of strange, really. I mean,
yeah.
Well, wasn't Son of Kal-El gonna take over the main Superman title though?
Well, it's not picked up on the numbering. It started its own.
It started its own.
Yeah, so I guess they just put a hold on the title, the actual title, until they decide what they're going to do with it. But yeah, it's not in here. 2 months in a row.
One more thing for me on page 38. you have Batman, The Long Halloween, Dark Victory, the deluxe edition, but I think this is just Dark Victory. So I guess what they're trying to do is piggyback that off of Long Halloween to kind of increase the sales, just because it's also Loeb and Sale. And
it is technically the sequel to
the sequel, yeah. So they just want to get some more,
Halloween numbers there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just more colons in there is what it was. So that's all I got in DC.
Me too.
I've got. Yep.
All right, let's go to Marvel. Which, even though the catalog is 3 times as large, I have a whole lot less to say about Marvel than I did about DC.
Third less to say.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, but right off the bat, page 1, we have a new Venom title. And honestly, I would care zero about this book, except for the fact that Al Ewing is going to be writing it. So all of a sudden, do I maybe care now? Yeah, this is what we'll be talking about. Al Ewing here wrapping up another title shortly.
Yeah.
But this kind of gives me some hope for this character. The Incredible Hulk was always a character that I thought was interesting as a supporting character. Occasionally, you get some interesting stories with him. Venom is a character that I really don't care anything about. But could Al Ewing do something great with that character? Well, Immortal Hulk shows that he definitely could. So maybe I'm going to give this a shot.
He's co-writing with that Ram V person, which was doing is doing Swamp Thing right now, and I just wasn't overly impressed with the writing on that. I bounced out after a couple issues, but be curious to see what else, because that's the only thing I've read from that Ram V person.
Page 6 through 11, we've got basically new creative team for Amazing Spider-Man. They're going back to 3 issues per month, so 75, 76, and 77. They're implying that something major is going to happen to Peter Parker, and we've got Ben Reilly back, so I guess fans of the Clone Saga should definitely be checking out what's going on with Amazing Spider-Man. And then go ahead.
I was interested because I was like, what's Spider-Man Beyond? Like, what are we going to be getting into here? And it was left with a lot of nothing. The advertisements didn't give you a lot to even be excited for. It didn't seem like in that. It was interesting for a marketing standpoint. I wasn't interested in buying these right off the bat.
Well, I mean, definitely one of 2 things is going to happen. Is either Peter Parker is going to die again, or Peter Parker is going to retire. I mean that's what it has to be, and I feel like the Peter Parker dying thing has been done recently enough that is going to be Peter Parker is going to retire and let Ben Reilly be Spider-Man for a while, and then it will be, well, how long is that going to stick? You know, is what it's going to boil down to. So. All right, page 12, Immortal Hulk, issue number 50, giant size finale, 96 pages, courtesy of Al Ewing and Joe Bennett. So I think we're all enjoying our read through of this series. So in a way, I'm sad to see that this issue is coming out. But if a writer is writing a good story and he has a finite story that he wants to tell, then don't drag it out any longer than you have to. So
yes.
It's been so good that you almost are glad that it ends before it gets bad, or before it loses quality. And
with this being 96 pages, they could have had issues 51, 52, and 53 also if they really, really wanted to.
Yeah, right.
So yeah.
I also like when they end on a nice round number like 50.
OCD much?
Just a tad.
My next thing is not until page 52. So
52.
I got a 22.
All right, go.
22 is Black Panther Legends #1. It's a 4-issue mini. And it's just nice to see an actual main title like this that's focused on kids. It's says written for middle school grade, and so this would be a good hop on, especially if you've got little ones who are interested in Black Panther, or if you just have a lower reading level and you're just into stuff and you don't like it overly complex. This would be.
I just want to look at the pictures. Is that so wrong?
Right. Exactly. That's why we got into comics in the first place, right?
On page 47, there's the Marvels. This is issue 6. I'm not sure how long this is meant to run, but has anyone been reading this?
I have not.
I haven't either. I've wanted to, but I thought maybe I hopped on late. All right, I noticed it like 3 issues in, and thought, oh, maybe I'll grab it when it's all done.
Yeah, that's what I think I'll do. I've seen a couple issues on the stands at Mike's store, and I almost picked them up, but I thought, well, it's the middle of the story. I didn't know the premise really. I didn't know how different it was from Marvel's. The
well, it's written by Kurt Busiek, so I mean, it's probably in the spirit of that story. So
right.
I do want to jump back to page 26 just because I just noticed this variant cover on Marvel Voices Community, and then they have the Spanish Comunidades, I guess is what that is. This White Tiger lower right variant cover with with her busting through like the jade symbol. Mm-hmm. That is a really cool cover.
That Maria Wolf, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm really digging that cover. That makes me think I may have to try to track that down. It's probably like the 1 in 100 variant that costs like $500, but it is really, really cool.
Yeah, I think I'll be picking that book up. I've been picking up the Marvel Voices ones, just all the kind of anthology books, and they've been pretty good so far. On 38 and I guess 39 as well, there's just a bunch of Eternals books that are out now right before. So the Eternal movie comes out on November 5th, and so it sounds like they're going to get some books on the shelf before a movie comes out, which I know is rare for Marvel to do.
Well, they have the Eternals monthly title going right now.
Oh, that's true. They've got that, yeah.
Of course, I don't know. Is it solicited this month?
I didn't see it on there. I just saw these 2 one-shots. I think they were one-shots. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing the Eternals monthly title.
Doesn't look like they've killed off their characters. They don't have they're doing everything right for this movie release, it seems like.
Maybe the characters. Well, of course, I don't know. The characters that you see, I'm wanting to look here at these characters.
May not even be the same ones.
Yeah, are they going to line up with? I'm trying to remember who all they've like gender swapped and everything.
That's right.
And I don't remember exactly which ones. I think they kind of lined it up with the movie. It looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's Makari, who is below Icarus in the red, and that's because Makari was originally male, and in this image, I think that's Makari, and Makari is female. So I think they've adjusted to match with the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say in a long, painful, roundabout way. Anything before 52?
Nope.
No. Okay, so 52, I've just figured out I have got some serious catching up to do, because here we have Phoenix Song Echo #1. This is a 5-issue series about Echo Maya Lopez, and apparently she has received the Phoenix Force, and I don't even know when that happened. So I have to find out when that happened. I'm assuming that it's going to have happened probably in Avengers, and it may be part of Jason Aaron's run on Avengers. But I need to track that down because that is something that this is a character I really enjoy. I've liked this character back since she appeared in Daredevil #9, and I need to find out what she's doing with the Phoenix Force. So my last thing for this catalog is on page 85.
Just a quick mention on 60, the Gamma Flight miniseries, since it ties into the Incredible, or the Immortal Hulk, sorry. Is ending on this one. So if you've been reading that, this will be the end of that one. Okay. And then I'm 68.
Go ahead.
68 is a new Star Wars New Republic, or High Republic. I can't talk today. Star Wars High Republic Trail of the Shadows 5-issue miniseries that is starting out. It's a murder mystery story with a Jedi and a private eye that have to team up to solve a murder mystery. So another.
You don't think about you don't think about Star Wars and private eyes.
No, that was the weirdest. I hadn't seen a private eye. Agreed.
Of course, I guess War of the Bounty Hunters is probably getting close to wrapping up. I feel like it should be. Yeah, so 5 of 5 is being solicited there. Yep. So we'll probably get some Omega issues of that as well next month to kind of finish that up.
Exactly. And actually, yeah, on I know I'm skipping. 92 is where I'm at next.
Okay, well, 85. I'm just going to mention Young Avengers, the hardcover reprints, the 12-issue series, and a few other specials. It's pricey at $100, but if you were wanting to read, Kate Bishop's origin and some, Iron Lad, Stature, those books, the individual issues are getting pricey. You're probably not going to find those for under $100. So this would be a way to get those and save a little bit of money and get them all in one binding. You said 92?
Yep, 92. Yeah, it's weird. There isn't an Omega. They're soliciting the collection of the Star Wars Bounty Hunters, and I thought that weird too. They've got Star Wars Alpha and then 1 through 5 and no Omega for the War of Bounty Hunters.
That is odd.
But yeah, if you haven't been reading it as it's been going on, you can get your collection for War of the Bounty Hunters, as well as the Dr. Aphra books that are part of it, and the main Star Wars title that was part of it, and all your little one-shots for your different bounty hunters are in the companion, the Bounty Hunters Companion, are all going to be solicited for November, it looks like. And that's all I got from Marvel.
That's all I have from Marvel as well. Mike, you got anything else from Marvel?
There's a couple things, but they're really just on a whim. I just noticed the Shang-Chi issue 5 that has him with the Iron Man armor and it reminded me that I just seen the trailer for that movie last night, and looks pretty good.
Yeah, the trailer already looks better than Iron Fist.
Yes.
I'll tell on myself. When I went and saw Black Widow, the trailer pops up. You got an Asian guy. I hadn't seen any of the trailers for Shang-Chi. So you have an Asian guy pops up. He's fighting. I lean over the guy I'm watching the movie with. Is this the trailer for Shang-Chi? No, it was a trailer for Snake Eyes. Oh. Realized pretty quick. So then when we went and saw The Suicide Squad, they showed the Shang-Chi trailer again. So as a joke, I leaned over and said, "Hey, was that the trailer for Shang-Chi?" Or no, they showed Shang-Chi, so I said, "Was that the trailer for Snake Eyes?" Oh, all right. Big book.
The big one.
The big book. All right, page 26. Get your own copy of previews, which we haven't mentioned. Previews orders are normally due by the 18th. You probably have a few days after the 18th to get in your order. If there's something here that you want, but don't wait too long after the 18th to get those orders in. Then my next thing's on page 40.
Okay, mine is also on 40.
Oh, I wonder if we're going to talk about the same thing.
Who knew?
One thing on that particular page, yeah. So you probably can speak more eloquently about this than I can. So you go.
Well, I thought, man, this book looks familiar, and I had forgotten that this was a Panel Syndicate book. So Panel Syndicate, for anybody that's not informed of them, is this kind of open market comic book creator platform that these different creators get together and they sell just digital copies of comics. It's all new creator owned stuff. And so this was one of those books that had come out through that side of things. And I had issue 1 of Friday and hadn't read it yet. And so I thought about it. I was like, well, I'm going to read it before preview so that I can kind of be informed of it. And it was actually a really good book. It had the kind of twist on it is that it's your Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew, Harriet the Spy kind of take on kid detectives. But what if they grew up and they went to college and then they had to come back and solve murder mysteries again, and as adults? And so that Friday and Lancelot are these two kids. Lancelot stayed home and stayed in town and worked with the police force to solve crimes, and she went to college and has come back to town, and there's a new mystery, a missing person that they have to figure out. But the first issue is really good. This is the first 3 issues collected together. So if you hadn't already picked it up digitally, this would definitely be a good pickup.
Yeah, and Brubaker's an excellent writer, so.
Yeah.
And definitely a better writer than Todd McFarlane on page 44, who is not that I would, not that I dislike Todd McFarlane's writing, because I enjoyed Spawn, but here we have Gunslinger Spawn #1. I'm trying to dig myself out of that hole for that statement,
Well, you know what? They got me with Gunslinger. I mean, I'm a big fan of Stephen King's Dark Tower series, and I thought surely they knew what they were doing when they put that subtitle on the book. Or it's actually the title, and Spawn's the subtitle. Gunslinger Spawn #1. And then I look at the image, I'm thinking, no, I can't do it. I just can't.
Well, okay, so this, if I remember correctly, Gunslinger Spawn was just like a variant cover for like maybe even Spawn 300. It wasn't. I don't think it was actually a character until Spawn Universe.
Oh.
So, and maybe I'm wrong, but I probably am. But this is, I mean, Gunslinger Spawn is a fairly new character, so.
Okay.
I don't know how long he's actually. I mean, he hasn't been around very long, so. Now,
good artist on it. Brett Booth, Philip Tan. Those are some solid artists.
They're obviously mimicking McFarlane in these preview pages, So now, page 48 and 49, we have Hellcop #1. And I feel like this should maybe have Spawn. I mean, with the variant covers with Spawn on it, is this not out of the Spawn universe as well?
I don't know. I was confused about it as well, and I looked and I finally read over both of the descriptions, and nothing is mentioned about Spawn.
Spawn at all, but they have, and maybe they just have Spawn covers because they're image titles, and they just want to sell a few more books. But I mean, it sounds like it could come straight out of the Spawn title. So I don't know. So Hellcop #1 may or may not be a spinoff from Spawn. And if the regular copy is not enough, you can get a Halloween 3D special that comes with 3D glasses. My next thing's not till 65.
On 50, they've got the Magic Order 2 #1. Which is, I'm assuming, the second volume of that Magic Order story by Mark Miller. That was kind of the beginning of his Netflix agreement, if I remember, like kind of going back as he signed the big deal with Netflix and then started this Magic Order book. And they were going to do a series or a movie that went along with it, and then that died away and the series stopped. But the movies now, or the project is recently been put back into development at Netflix, so I guess they figured they better get another Magic Order comic book in the works.
Well, since Jupiter's Legacy bombed so bad, it's like they need to try to get something out of that big investment they have. So
yes,
I haven't even watched that yet because the reviews were just so terrible. So
yeah, I went to start the other night and I went, no, I'll wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be really bored before I start that one. So.
And I'm not for a while.
Okay,
I'm sorry, ahead, 54 or
past you that? Go.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something caught my eye. It's by Image, A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance #1, and it's by a writer that I've liked some of his stuff, and I have not liked some of his stuff, but he's very well regarded, Rick Remender, and it's a crime mystery thriller. The solicitation says, when an unassuming man stumbles upon a dark web contract assassin's vicious plot to kill an innocent target, he turns himself into one, and they call it The Professional Meets Road to Perdition. And the art looks really good. They got a nice page of sample art, nice crisp art. So it might be something worth picking up. It's also one of those retailer no risk, can be returned. Any copy's not sold. So it might be worth a try.
Yeah, I wrote it down. That's something I didn't have down initially, so I think I may give that a shot. Anything else for 65?
Just on 63, they've got all of the Outcast by Robert Kirkman is collected into one, and so is all of Paper Girls on the next page on 64. So I thought that those were
1,000 pages.
Yes.
Hey, yeah. But only $65. That's actually a pretty good price.
Yeah, I thought and I love that Image does that. That they'll kind of throw, all this massive. They're not scared of compendiums and full collections to get full stories all in one and sell them at a decent price. So.
All right, so 65, we have the Saga box set. Now, I'm not a huge Saga fan. I know a lot of people really, really love this series. Mm-hmm. It has been AWOL for quite a while now. We assume that it will be coming back at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
And I would suspect that they are close to being done, maybe 1 or 2 more volumes before they wrap that up. So it really just seems weird to me that they're coming out with a quote-unquote complete box set now. With 9 volumes, whenever there's probably only be 2 more volumes. They really should have left space in this box
that would have been cool.
The next 2. That way you don't feel like you're going to be buying a complete volume set again. Once 10 and 11, or even just maybe 10 comes out. But I just feel like they're nearing the end of Saga.
Well, the terms that are used are we've been hard at work on the second half of Hazel's epic journey.
Oh wow! Okay.
So It led me to believe that we were at the midpoint.
Okay. Well then, I guess that's then I guess if they got 9 more volumes, then okay, it's okay then. So.
But if that's the case, there better be a 10 through 18 box set so that I can
exactly like
don't be pulling this crap on me. I want to see. I want
to. It'll have, and they probably will, but it'll be a different trade dress and it won't match up with what you have on your shelf.
It'll stick out just a little bit further,
Oh yeah,
a little bit taller.
It sounds like Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples are doing their little mea culpa for, interrupting the flow of things because, like you said, it's been on such a long hiatus. But he's signed up for lots of TV or movie deals.
Yeah.
He's very busy, but comics seems to be sort of on the back burner right now. Yeah. But I'm one of the people that does like this story.
Yeah.
And I look forward to it coming back.
Okay, so when did Saga first come out?
Ooh, it's probably.
I have the internet here. Let's just look at
2013.
Okay, so it started in 2012.
2012.
All right, so it took them 9 volumes, a volume a year on average.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that means if they're halfway through, you won't see the end of this until 2030.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah. And that's if they can keep the pace that they kept for the first 9 volumes. So, yikes. Anyway, moving on. 89 is my next thing.
How about it?
How about 78?
Okay, that's before 89.
Yeah. Crossover number 11. I only bring this up because when I was down in Panama City, I went to Tallahassee and went to a couple stores, and the bigger of the 2 stores had a nice layout. They had a lot of recent back issues, and I was able to get the first 5 or 6 issues of Crossover, and I've read the first one and I'm hooked. I love it. I am interested in this redacted on the last line of this, removed by the Kirkman estate. So I'm trying to think which character they didn't get permission to use. So I guess that's intriguing enough as it is. It almost looks like it was placed there just to get people to go, oh, I better get this to see what they're talking about, But yeah, definitely a thumbs up on the series.
Well, and that can't be because Kirkman said you can't use it. I mean, that's definitely a marketing ploy there. So
that probably, I'm gonna guess Invincible would be my go-to that they're gonna cross over. Invincible will get into the mix of everything at some point.
Well, it works on me. Marketing ploy worked on me, as do many.
89. Anything else for 89? Nope. Okay, so we have the 6 sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. And I mentioned this because it's written by Kyle Starks, and Kyle Starks is going to be the featured guest at Berg Comics Con 2021. So, he's got a current book out at Image. He had Old Head last month, along with the issue 4 of this series. And there's a cover B by Francesco Francavilla. So,
you think he'll have some issue 1s with him?
I would say if he does, if he has any, he will probably have some with him.
Okay.
When I've seen him at conventions before, he typically has trades with him.
Oh, okay.
And this won't be in trade.
It won't be in trade yet, yeah.
So he may not have any. So I don't know. So
okay. I haven't read it yet. I haven't gotten involved, but that would be a reason too. Would be I met the guy who wrote it, so I should probably read the book.
Yep. Yeah, I'm like that. I probably should. I have. He did another series called Assassination. I only read the first issue of that. I have them all. I probably should read all those before.
Yeah.
Before he shows up here on September 4th. So.
Yes.
Let's see. My next thing's not till 124. So.
I'm at like 208. So.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything in Dark Horse. Mike, did you have anything in Dark Horse this time? You're muted, so I didn't hear what you said. Yes, no, if you cursed at me or what you did.
I was practicing what I was going to say.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm in Dynamite, so go ahead.
Okay, so page 124 from IDW have Star Trek: The Mirror War #1. I know a lot of people, when it comes to Star Trek, are fans of Mirror Universe stories. So here you have a Mirror Universe apparently series. This doesn't list an end issue; it just says it's a series premiere. So fans of the Mirror Universe, here you got your first ongoing because most of them have been, 4 or 6 issue series and then done. And then on page 130 you have Dungeons and Dragons Mindbreaker #1 of 5, and this is basically a prequel or a prelude to Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know if that's out yet or not, but anybody who's played Baldur's Gate is familiar with Minsk and Boo. So Minsk and Boo are featured on the cover here of issue #1 of Dungeons and Dragons Mindbreaker #1. Then my next thing's not till 164.
How about 160?
Okay, that works for me.
Now I normally
Vampirella books between here and there.
This is close, but it's
wow.
I want to say that the cleavage on the cover was not what caught my eye, but Jennifer Blood is the name of the title, and what really caught my eye is Fred Van Lente. I got to meet him once at the Denver Pop Culture Con, and really cool guy. He's done a lot of different types. He's done a lot of history of comics books. He's done. It looks like he wrote Wolverine at one point, but I'm going to give this a try. I don't know. It's maybe it's going to be the typical Dynamite fare, but there are, I've heard some people say Vampirella written by Priest has been pretty good. So just to be adventurous, I'm going to pick this one up.
Well, you would think that they could get by at Dynamite by bringing in lesser writers. But when they have Christopher Priest on Vampirella, I didn't read it, but I was tempted to read it just because of the fact that Christopher Priest was on it. I'm the same way. Never did, but and now you're right. Fred Van Lente is a solid writer, so they're not skimping on the writers on these books. That's for sure. Yeah. Though some of the pictures are skimping on the clothing.
I usually, hey, teach their own, but I'm going to get this one just to see what it's about.
Do we really need? Let's see, how many covers of Vampirella are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think there are 15 covers of Vampirella 16 of Vampirella 25. Oh, it's a milestone issue, so that's why there's 25 issues. But that's 15 covers. But yeah, there are usually that many every month, I think.
I do regret not having gotten the Elvira meets Vincent Price. It's on issue whatever it's on now.
3,
yeah. And now I'm like, just for its hokiness. But before that, there's a complete polar opposite of these Vampirella, Elvira type books. It's on page 168.
Oh, well, hold on. Before you get to that.
Oh, okay.
164. For the James Bond fans out there is a new James Bond title.
I did notice that. It reminded me of our our intentions to go back to that series to review the next trade.
So you have James Bond Himeros. I don't know if that's supposed to be Spanish and pronounced a little bit differently. But new James Bond series. Does it say how many issues? I don't see any place where it says how many issues. But most of the time, it seems from Dynamite, they're usually about 4 issues. So probably around a 4-issue series. And with the movie finally coming out, they're wanting to keep some James Bond on the shelves. The last series from Dynamite was 5 issues, so I would expect that one to be about the same.
So I can tell you that Himeros is not Spanish; it's Greek, and I only know that because of the solicitation text. It says it's Himeros. Shad's laughing because he's seen the same thing. Yeah, I wanted to fake you out and say, oh yeah, I know my that's not Spanish, that's Greek.
Well, we talked earlier about. I just want to look at the pictures. I don't want to read the text. So that's what I'm doing here. So,
but no, that does look good, and we do need to talk about maybe revisiting that. That comic, or that brand.
Did Dynamite do the story, the black box that we read, or was that a different publisher?
I think it was a different publisher. I need to look. I've got it in my Comixology account, still sitting there taking up my whole 4 gigabytes of space.
Yeah. All right, where were you at? What page were you on?
168. And like I said, this is a complete departure we've been talking about. It's called Saved by a Whisker, and it's inspired by real life events. It's written for all ages, which basically tells you it's for kids, and it looks fantastic. I've got 2 granddaughters, as you know, that I'm hoping one of them would like this. Or my older, the one that's oh my gosh, is she 7 already? Holy cow! But it's a story of this cat that got lost when the family was moving and made its way back to the family. Almost, what was that old movie that the great?
I almost said Home Alone, but that's not it.
It's
Homeward Bound. There you go.
Yes, there you go. So this looks great. So I'm definitely going to get this for my granddaughters.
I assume you're probably not going to get them the Betty Page books, though.
No. Good Lord.
Are we done with Dynamite? Can we get out of Dynamite?
There's a lot of time in Dynamite.
Please.
Yeah.
Well, it takes an hour to flip through the section because of all the variant covers. My goodness. Let's go to Boom.
Let's do it.
Page. Well, anybody want to talk about Buffy before we talk about what's on page 208?
I'm good.
I don't think so.
Right. Okay, so page 208, we got House of Slaughter, #1. So for fans of Something Is Killing the Children, we have another title, I guess, in the SIKTC universe. I think the main character's name is Erica Slaughter. Is that right? I've read the first trade.
Yeah.
So here we've got a new title in that universe. So
following Aaron Slaughter, who I guess was kind of her mentor. I don't know if it's her father or father figure, but it seems to be a prequel to Something Is Killing the Children. Sounds like they're just kind of throwing out a horror book, a new horror book for October. That's kind of what it seems like.
It seems like to me they're making a money grab on the success of Something Is Killing the Children. But it is the same, writer, so it is James Tynion IV.
Yeah.
So it is his property, it is his intellectual property. So yeah, hopefully he will. I guess it'll probably be more the same if you're fans of that, of that series.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't do much for me, but I know a lot of people like it. That comic is super hot right now.
Yeah.
211. I don't know if we knew this or not, but Berserker, the Keanu Reeves Matt Kent series, is going to be 12 issues, which kind of surprises me. I would have expected that to have been about 4.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to take it to 12. So I don't know if that was, the plan all along, or it's like, hey, this is doing better than we thought, so let's extend it to 12, or what the deal was. So
I still haven't read it. I bought the first issue. And
I have like 12 copies of the first issue. I've got a bunch of variants. I've got You can tell why I bought it.
Yeah.
I want that movie to come out and be huge. So
right.
then I can retire. My next thing's not till 238.
You're good on I'm 237.
Go.
You good, Mike?
Yeah, I'm good. I had a question before you go, Shad.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned James Tynan on that solicitation on that last that last one, and it made me wonder. I don't remember seeing Department of Truth in this previews, and I was just flipping back. I didn't see it, so I seen a trade paperback for Volume 1, I guess. But anyway, just a point of note. I don't know if that's run its course or not.
Volume 2 trade is solicited on page 70 of Department of Truth. And it may just be, taking a month off.
Could be.
Let's look at, it says the second arc. So it doesn't appear to be ended. I'd say it's probably just taking a month off. So
okay.
Would be my guess. So he's having to double up, on all those Batman books at DC.
Oh my gosh, I guess
he needed a break from something. Right. So we're between.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Shad.
Oh, you're good. You're good. My 237 isn't much to write home about. It's just that we don't have a lot of COVID-19 comic books, but we do have Super Cerebus versus COVID-19 one shot, which I'm assuming the one shot is Johnson & Johnson. But if you read this, it is bad. If you read the synopsis, it has nothing to do with a virus. It is two giant things that are fighting each other. I mean, it looks like the COVID-19 virus, but other than that, is this some weird 70s sci-fi fighting from other planets kind of random book. But if you were wanting to have some weird book that had a mention of COVID-19, that would be the one, I guess, so far.
Well, it looks like the cover is a play off of Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. It's a shame it's not treasury sized.
No kidding.
That being said, the better COVID-19 book is still Spectacular Spider-Man 176.
And if you look at the AV for Aardvark Vanaheim, it's in the old DC Bullet
DC,
style.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely an homage to, or whatever play off of that.
It's so weird, though.
Yeah. That's almost worth getting. I'm going to earmark that one.
I got several things on page 238.
Okay.
So first from Abrams Comic Arts, I almost said Comic Arts. Comic Arts, you have Dune Volume 1 Deluxe Collector Edition graphic novel, which I think they have solicited this before, and it was a limited edition, only so many printed. So this is a new. Right. I think this is a new edition. They don't limit the print on this particular one, as far as I can tell. So I guess it's for everybody who didn't get it the first time around. Of course, with the movie coming out, we're seeing a lot of Dune stuff. But this is supposed to be based off of the books, not the movie. I can't remember if I picked this up or not in one form or another. I think I had the first original one, not the limited, and not this one. And I haven't even gotten around to reading it yet.
And it seems like it's just presentation. They're just putting a slipcover around it, or a slip box around it. Like there's nothing's changing on the inside of the book. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah, and of course, will they, when Volume 2, if it ever makes it, will it match presentation?
Yes.
So. Also on 238, we have, I'm going to be very tempted to get this, the Marvel Classic Blacklight Posters hardcover. So it looks like it's just, it's oversized, so it's 20 by 29, not quite poster sized. But maybe about half size, and it looks like, I'm assuming that they're reprinting some of those 1970s blacklight posters, and of course Mike has several of those on the wall at Muddy Monster Comics, and he actually has gotten some blacklight installed so you can kind of get the full effect of those posters. I know he has the Silver Surfer. I think he has a Doctor Strange one. So I'm assuming that these are reprints of those posters, and it does say first printed in 1971 by Third Eye, so it definitely is those posters. So it's 12 images of 24. I didn't realize there were 24 of those.
Right.
Wow. I think I've maybe only seen like 5 or 6 of them. So I thought this was all of them. So okay, so this is a little bit more of a financial commitment than what I thought. You'll have to get the second book if you want them all. So because it's $125 for 12 pages, basically for 12 posters. Then also on page 238, the bane of every Marvel comic collector who collected, 1970s comics. Here we have the Marvel Value Stamps, a visual history hardcover. So this basically, explains what it is that's missing from all of those valuable books that you had from the 70s when people cut out the value stamps. So, I think didn't this written by Roy Thomas. So this has been solicited before. This is apparently just like a hardcover version of that book. So, lots of stuff on 238 for me. Actually, I got one. Oh, that's 288. So my next day's not till 288. So.
Well, at 238, there's also the Odyssey of the Odyssey. I know it's a winner page right here.
That's right.
The Odyssey of Star Wars, an epic poem. So they essentially write in Homeric hexameter or whatever. That I had to pull that up, and I was like, what did he write it in? Wrote essentially from the end of Rogue One all the way to the end of Return of the Jedi. Essentially an Odyssey version of Star Wars. I thought that was kind of a neat thing, especially if you collected the Shakespeare versions of everything. This would kind of fit right into your library of odd interpretations of Star Wars.
Or Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
That's right.
That series as well. There's only 2 more things on page 238. So I didn't mention those. From Abrams Appleseed, you have My Mighty Marvel First Book board book collection. So you got like a Spider-Man, Captain America, et cetera, little board books. And you also have Lifetime Passages graphic novel. So it's a young adult graphic novel. So teens take senior citizens to a theme park. So we covered everything on page 238. That's why we don't cover everything in the catalog, because we just spent 10 minutes on page 238, right. And this catalog is 400 and something pages long, so that's why we don't talk about it all. All right.
I got 246 as my next one.
I think it's you.
Okay. 246 from Aftershock. We have Chicken Devil #1. It's a new series that features a regular dude who has a business with a business partner who gets in with the mob, and things go south. Then he wasn't aware of his business was happening with it, and so he dons the chicken suit from their restaurant, Memphis Hot Chicken. I think that's what it's called, and goes on a killing spree almost as a vigilante and in a chicken suit. It just seems weird, so why not?
I almost picked that one to talk about too, Chad. It reminded me weirdly of Gus, his little chicken restaurant on oh shoot, now I'm what's the show with the chemistry teacher that turns drug dealer?
Breaking Bad.
Oh,
Breaking Bad, yes. And Gus on there had his yeah. So that made me think of that show.
265. I just want to mention this Dilbert book because I love the title. Dilbert, The office is a beautiful place when everyone else works from home. So, plus, being a computer guy, I also like Dilbert. So.
Yeah, I kind of miss the days when we used to get the Sunday paper and I'd go to it's kind of ironic that 3 of my favorite strips every Sunday are solicited in collections on this page. You got the Dilbert one you just mentioned, then you've got the Baby Blues called Stink Eye, and then you've got Zits. So those were 3 of the strips I always read every Sunday.
Uh, 288.
I got 285.
All right, you go.
We have a one shot called ETER, which sounds like just a weird television pitch that just didn't get picked up. It's a medical, like a ER type thing, but in space with aliens and mixed races of of aliens, and they're doing it just as a one shot, which just feeds more into my thought that this is maybe a pilot idea for a show that somebody had, and they're like, well, I'll just make it into a comic book and see what happens.
Yeah.
If people like it, then maybe I'll get picked up as a series or something.
Imagine
that's by AWA, which they put out some pretty good books. They've got some good talent.
Okay.
Right below ETER is Telepaths, written by JMS, illustrated by Steve Epting. So wow.
Yep. 288 under binge books, we have the second book with art by Ron Friends and Sal Buscema. This is The Blue Baron. This is basically a follow-up to the book A Hero's Union, which we talked about, I don't know, a couple of previews catalogs ago. And really, Ron Friends, Sal Buscema, they're kind of some, classic 80s artists for Marvel. And they're doing their own book here with the Blue Baron #1. So it's a second of that new universe that they basically have created. I don't even think till 391.
Got 301. From Burly Man Entertainment, we've got a collection of the Matrix comics for the 20th anniversary, and of course, the new Matrix movie is coming out. So, what better time to recollect these? I have them as two separate collections, two trades in my shelf. So this is a big collection of everything all in one. It doesn't look like they added any additional information or any new stories, but that would be a good one to pick up. And if you're a fan of the Wachowski siblings, Doc Frankenstein is on the next column of the same page, which is another book that they did, and I had no idea. So that might be something cool.
I'm writing that down because I missed that Matrix one. Oh. And that's probably something it's one of those things where most people love the first movie, and the second and third movie are like, eh. It's like, how are they doing a fourth movie?
I like the lore. Like it seems really deep, and there's a lot going on in those stories.
Well, they have the Animatrix series. That was really cool too. So.
And then on 302 is just in time for the holidays. For your Star Wars family member who digs that kind of thing, is Star Wars: A Vader Family Sithmas, which is another book by Jeffrey Brown, who does the Goodnight Vader, and there's a one for Luke and one for Leia. There's all kinds of little books that are just kind of hardcover for people, adults, children, whoever. I like them, and I'm not a kid, so.
Like I said, my next thing's not till 391, so.
I'm at 328. Where you at, Chad?
How about it?
All right, so on page 328, under Hermes Press, it looks like, is a book called Ditko Shrugged. And if you know anything about Ditko, you probably get the reference. He was I don't know if you'd say an acolyte or a follower in the beliefs of Ayn Rand, who wrote a book called Atlas Shrugged. I don't know exactly how to describe the political, what the political description is of it, but it's
a person should be allowed to do what makes them happy.
Exactly. And if they don't, I'd say that's as apt as a description as anything. And no quarter for those that are weak, sort of type thing. So anyway, it's basically an in-depth biography of Steve Ditko. So it's not for the faint of heart. It's $49.99, but it's 144 pages. But he's an interesting personality, just because of his reclusiveness, if nothing else, and just being the creator of so many, amazing, no pun intended, characters. Yeah. Anyway, just want to bring that up because that's historical books or books about the history of comics always intrigue me.
I'm still at 391.
I'm at 381. So on from Source Point Press, which I don't think I've ever gotten a book from Source Point Press. They've got a book called The Winchester House, or The Winchester Mystery House, #1. So a new series that's sounds to me like a Amityville horror kind of plot. There's a house, they're building it, bad things kind of happen, haunted mystery kind of thing going on. Also reminded me a lot of, there was a Netflix show called The Haunting of Hill House, and it kind of seemed like it went towards that, where there's just this house is being built by multiple people, and they bring in all these different contractors. And
well, the Winchester house is actually a real house.
Okay, that's right. Well, it did say based on a true story, but I wasn't familiar with it.
There was a movie about the Winchester house. I can't remember what it was called, just a few years ago. So, yeah, based on a true story.
Yes.
You know, the same way Amityville Horror was based on a true story.
Exactly. Yeah. But it looked at. I think I'm gonna pick this one up. I mean, I love the Halloween. I love the horror books. So any horror book I can pick up that is in October is even better.
I was looking to see when that movie, trying to figure out when that movie came. So it's because I just typed in Winchester House, it's just take me to the actual Winchester House information, not to the movie, as I ramble on and on as I'm trying to not.
I was called Winchester, and it came out in 2018.
2018. Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Helen Mirren.
Yeah,
nice. I'll have to check that out.
Okay, we to 391 yet?
Yeah, how about it?
All right, so 391. I think I've talked about this book the last couple of months when they were solicited as individual issues, but we have Elric the Dreaming City, which is just from Titan, just 2 issues being solicited as a hardcover, and it's got a nice Mike Mignola cover. So if you talked yourself out of picking up the individual issues, the hardcover is now being solicited. And I think that's everything I have on side 1. So
same for me.
Mike, you got anything on sale on side 1?
No, I do not.
You're not going to go through your manga picks for the month this month?
I'm going to give you guys a break on that.
Okay. Yeah, I usually just they have this nice bright red section for manga, and I usually just skip right past it. And they only had 1 page of apparel this month.
Yeah, so I noticed it was very slim pickings.
Yeah, and I think they were resolicits. Yeah, all the Spider-Man shirts were offered again. So the only thing new were the Cyberpunk 2077 stuff, the T-shirt and the hat. So, all right, side 2. I've only got 1 thing on side 2, so it's on page 114. So you guys go till you get to 114.
I got a 107.
All right, Mike, what do you got?
I'm good.
107. All right.
107. We've got a couple of things from the Masters of the Universe Revelations TV series that was on Netflix. But I just love the little mini lunch boxes, the metal lunch boxes, and they've got a couple of the Masters of the Universe Revelation. They call them tin totes, but we know they're all lunch boxes. And I thought they were cool to check out.
If they don't have the thermos, it's not a lunchbox.
Oh, is that the deciding factor?
I don't know.
I mean, it's believable. If you told me that was the way it went, I would be like, all right, now I know, and I would tell all my friends, and they'd be like, "Who told you that?"
Well, if you ever go to a yard sale and somebody has one of those old school lunch boxes, they almost never have the thermos in them.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always just the lunchbox because the thermos didn't survive. So
correct. And then on 110, I've got there's a Sonic the Hedgehog doormat that really just seems to encourage ding dong ditching. It's just ring and run is what it says on it. And I thought that was odd. And if you were into funny little things like that, that would be a good pickup. And that's it on my side.
Okay, so 114 from Ravensburger, USA. You have Alien, The Fate of the Nostromo board game. So this is a cooperative board game based on the 1979 Alien film, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. So this is something that I will, as soon as I see some reviews of this game, I will be almost certainly picking that up. to add to my game collection. All right. Anything else for you, Mike?
No, I don't think so.
Shad, anything else for you?
I'm all good.
All right. So we want to try to come up with some investment picks this month.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's everybody got?
I'm going to go with I think the Batman Fortnite one shot is a good thing to put some ideas on, at least on a short term run for investments, because like you said, those codes are going to be big. The book was a quick sellout, and I don't know if people are going to expect there to be another run at it with this one shot. So I'm going to go with that one as my investment.
I do know that if you are looking for some issues, Mike does not have all of the issues on the shelf. He has like 3 or 4 of the issues on the shelf. So if you're just looking to pick up 1 or 2 codes, you can do that just by grabbing them still at Muddy Monster Comics. Mike, what about you? You got a investment pick?
Well, Shad stole my thunder on that one. I actually had that picked out as we were going through, but that's okay, Shad. I've got a backup. And it's I'm more of a Trekkie than a Star Wars guy, so what you said about the Star Trek Mirror War, I think might have enough of an allure that it could be, a good investment, have some lasting power. But I should caveat every episode when we do a previews to tell the audience, do not listen to me about investment picks.
He only does this because I make him.
Exactly. All right, that was it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with 2, and they're both by the same writer, Al Ewing. And it's crazy because I only have 5 Marvel books, and I'm going to use 2 of them as my picks here. So we got Venom #1. And I mentioned this because if he does something interesting with Venom, like he did with Immortal Hulk, then that first issue could end up, being a good book. That first issue of Immortal Hulk, graded copies sell for $150 plus. So that would be a book to definitely consider. And I'm gonna just tag on that with Immortal Hulk #50 for a couple of reasons. One, if people don't realize that's the final issue of the series, sometimes they miss out on those. I can't imagine that this series is going to be under ordered. That being said, the $10 price tag on that last issue may throw a few people, off of that book. So who knows? Maybe it will be underprinted for the demand for that book. So I don't think you could, probably couldn't go wrong with picking up a couple extra copies of that issue #50 as well. So, all right. Well, what are you looking forward to, though? What books are everybody looking forward to?
I'm interested in, very excited for the Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale team up with the Long Halloween special. I try to read anything that they have done together over the years, and so this is one little piece of that apple again. So I'm very excited for that.
Any others you're looking forward to particularly?
Oh, I don't know. I prepped for one.
Oh. You don't have any backups? See, I always mark 2 or 3, Okay, well,
that horror one that I was talking about, the haunting.
The Winchester one?
Yeah, the Winchester one.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one as well.
What about you, Mike?
The one I'm looking forward to most is Human Target #1 by Tom King and Greg Smallwood. And
because of Human Target or because of the JLE?
Because of the JLI. Yeah, Human Target was sort of a bland character in all of his iterations, but under the pen of Tom King, if nothing else, it should prove to be interesting. A second choice would be Wonder Woman Historia, and I think being penned by Kelly Sue DeConnick, the first issue's drawn by Phil Jimenez, and I think there's a couple of he's just doing the first issue, but there's some equally capable artists for the second 2 issues. Gene Ha and Nicola Scott. You can't go wrong with that.
Well, I'm going to echo, which will be a pun here in just a second, Shad's pick of Batman Long Halloween Special. It's something I definitely will be looking forward to, but also Phoenix Song Echo, 1 of 5, just because that's a character that I really, really enjoy. And then, of course, I am, looking forward to that last issue of Immortal Hulk, just to see the finale of that Al Ewing story. So, a few things there I'm definitely looking forward to. So, all right, Mike Atchison's favorite part of the podcast. Mike, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, what is that one place that they could do that?
Well, that one place, although there are a few, is Mike Atchison 5 at Twitter, on Twitter. I don't even know how to say what's the right preposition. At Twitter, on Twitter, in Twitter.
At the tweeter?
At the tweeter. But one of these days we'll put together some email addresses if people I'm more comfortable with that. So I think we need to maybe come up with something like that. That's my end of the podcast plug. So there you have it, folks.
Shad?
You can find me at Shad Schubert on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Mostly is where I'm active, and that's ShaadSchubert.
And I'm just going to mention that at the Muddy Monster Minicon, I finally got to hear Shad play and sing for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was outstanding. So you should definitely go check out the Can't Get Rights page.
Yeah.
And follow along with him. Do you have because I know you gave out those CDs, like the couple of promo songs.
Yeah.
Do you have those online too?
Yeah, they're on Spotify and iTunes and all that. Just look up the Can't Get Rights and it comes up there.
All right. So,
okay.
Yeah. Yes. So the two songs that I heard, those are outstanding as well. So I really enjoyed.
Awesome.
I really, truly, honestly enjoyed those.
Thank you.
I am not just saying that because you're on the podcast. It's got a kind of a, you know what? It really kind of with like the dual guitar things. It really felt a lot like that. Was it a Men and Monsters?
Monsters and Men. Yeah.
Yeah, Monsters and Men. Yeah. It kind of had that feel to it a little bit to me as well. So, yeah. And this is Scott Reed, burgcomics.com, burgcomics.com. And the big plug will be September 4th. We have Berg Comics Con 2021 coming up in Harrisburg, Illinois. So check the Facebook page. I'm going to try to start getting some stuff on the actual website. Hopefully here within the next week, talking about some of the attendees, vendors, and stuff that will be there. But our featured guest is Kyle Starks. We talked about him earlier in the podcast with the 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. I hope I'm saying that title right. He will be there with signing books. He's also an excellent cartoonist / sketch artist, and he'll be doing sketches and selling stickers and all kinds of interesting stuff. So I hope that you can make it if you are in the area. And that's it. So we will talk to you next episode.
See ya.
No, so that's what we were talking about, Scott and I, Shad, about, the ultimate, the roller coaster ride of buy, purge, buy, purge, buy, purge. Absolutely. And I'm at 14,000 plus comics and seriously out of space. Yeah. And it's, and I'm so OCD. I got to get everything in order, but oh my God, I'd have to hire a crew to help me get it spread out and get everything in order because everything I bought out in Utah is in separate boxes and they need to be merged with my regular collection. So.
Okay, do you separate your DC, your Marvel, and your Indies, or do you have everything alphabetical?
Yes. DC, Marvel, and DC. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What do you do? What do you recommend?
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I do. So I separate DC, my Marvels, and my Indies.
I think mine's small enough that I just do alphabetics. And now the only exceptions are if I buy an old quality that's now a DC character, I put it in with the DCs, or if I buy an old faucet, an old comic, which I have a pretty good number of some Golden Age comics. So I put them in with DC. Actually, I have because it's needs a bigger box. I have a Golden Age only box, and then I sort them, alphabetically. Material, Shad?
Yeah.
That's impressive. So if I go to your Facebook page, I'll find links to where to download your music?
Yeah, if you go to mine specifically, I've got a bunch of, I actually live stream part of the Comic-Con, so you can just even watch some of my live stream stuff. And I do that typically when I'm playing wherever. I'll do, whether it be 15 minutes or 30 minutes of a live stream, just so everybody can kind of see what's going on for it. But, yeah. I was disappointed I couldn't get Justin Holman to go up there and sing with you. Like when you were doing the 90s stuff, he was over there singing to himself.
Right.
It's like, go up there.
Yeah, that would have been cool. So he was in a band, Revis.
Yeah.
I don't know if okay, so do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I wasn't kidding about the gold record thing.
No, you weren't. That's why I was like, I know.
Yeah.
I was curious if he actively sang or practiced any of that at all, or if he was.
He is the like worship leader / minister of music at his church in Whittington.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And he released a Christian album 2 years ago,
cool.
maybe. Yeah, and so that he is still using his music. So yeah,
cool. Awesome.
Just not the same way. So
yeah, exactly.
He got a little burned out on that lifestyle. So.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know if are we friends yet?
I don't know.
Are you friends? Can you stand each other? Is the question. Well, you probably are.
We get along okay.
Yeah. We're like workplace acquaintances.
Well, you're not popping up. You must not even have a mutual. Let's see. Come on. Chad Schubert.
Yeah. He sent me a friend request.
Well, that says a lot about his taste.
I have a whole lot of standards, but
I just sent you a friend request.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I've only ever sent one friend request on Facebook. It has sent me the friend request. So.
But most of my stuff, Mike, is on my artist page, and I can't friend through that. But
right, I follow that. I remember.
Yeah.
Clicking the follow button on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even see where I can friend you. It's almost like you must have your settings to where it's only friends of friends can. Or
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't friend you.
That's
and I don't have your friend request yet, but I'll look for it.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get there.
Maybe you sent it to the wrong Mike Atchison.
with the picture of him and his wife.
Yeah. Hey, that doesn't do anything on Facebook.
People can steal your picture, yeah.
People do that all the time. So I don't see your like your artist page.
I'm not doing a very good job at marketing this, I don't think.
No, like even on your page, I don't see like I figured you had like an about or something like that. So
yeah, maybe I need to work on this.
You can do both. So let's see. Let's just do this. Search for Shad and find.
I didn't get the friend request.
That's weird.
Let's see pages. There we go.
Oh, you know why? Because oh my God, my wife. I logged on my computer. I'm on her Facebook. What the hell?
All right, I found your. I did find your artist page.
Okay. Cool.
All right, let me go to my laptop here. She hijacked my doggone desktop. Let's see here. Let's see notifications.
Oh, you teach your lesson really easily.
Oh yeah, put some
something in there.
Oh God, no. I want to live through the night.
That happened to my son. My son one time at my grandparents' house left his Facebook account logged into their computer, and like the grandmother was all of a sudden excited because all of a sudden she had the Facebook and she could post on stuff. And he was posting this.
Oh no!
He was mortified.
That's hilarious. And I have a quick story about my mom. She's passed since, but she was trying to be really cool and hip, and she'd heard people say hashtag this and hashtag that. So on one of her Facebook posts, she actually
typed out the word hashtag
before her little catchphrase. And I'm like, oh, Mom, that's sweet.
Well, because
that's not how that works.
For her, it wasn't a hashtag. It was a number sign or a pound sign.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's not a hashtag. Number sign or a pound sign. Yep.
Yeah, when did that get lost?